In 2016, jihadists murdered a French priest in Normandy, France. In response, Iranian-born journalist Sohrab Ahmari released a tweet in solidarity saying hashtag I am Jacques Hamel and announced he was converting to Catholicism. Now, the tweet went viral because Ahmari was born Muslim. Hello and welcome to A Spirited Debate. I'm Lauren Green. Ahmari's tweet ignited the erroneous assumption that he suddenly converted because of the priest's murder. And to set the record straight, he wrote a book that has been widely praised, and it's called From Fire by Water, My Journey to the Catholic Faith. Ahmari is also the op-ed editor for the New York Post, a sister company of Fox News Channel, and he joins me now. Welcome for being here.
Thanks for having me, Lauren.
Why did people suddenly believe that you kind of suddenly had this revelation and converted to Catholicism?
Well, I put out the tweet because at that point when Father Hamel was murdered in July 2016, I had been undergoing instruction with a priest in London to be received into the Catholic Church for about 2 months. But I hadn't gone public about that. And I wasn't planning to until this happened. And I was moved somehow to respond, and like any millennial, responding meant tweeting something. But a lot of people then made the assumption, because they went on Wikipedia, I already had a relatively public profile, and they noted that I'd been born in Iran, so they just sort of surmised incorrectly, as though I had been praying to Allah 5 times a day before that, and then instantaneously had been converted, which wasn't the case. So
your case is unique. Your path is unique because a lot of conversion stories to Christianity from Muslims is that they've been devout Muslims and then they become devout Christians. But you were kind of a nominal Christian, like a nominal Muslim rather, like many nominal Christians, and then pursued atheism. And then what happened?
Well, and then I had a series of experiences, both reading, sort of reasoning, and providential encounters with the Mass, with Christian service that moved me profoundly at the level of my emotions and imagination. First of all, that although I called myself an atheist, I deeply longed for a redemptive sacrifice that would put right what was wrong with me and what was wrong with the world. And obviously that's what happens. That's the core Christian story. And then on the reading and reasoning side, I read the Bible far too late. It took me a long time. I had gone to college and still hadn't really fully read the Bible, but I finally...
Many Christians haven't read the Bible through as well, so, don't feel bad.
And Pope Benedict's books, Jesus of Nazareth especially, his first book since after he was elected Pope. And those two brought me along on the reason side, that first of all, it's perfectly reasonable to believe in a higher power, that the voice of the conscience that I had heard all through my life, where it would warn me not to do certain things because they were inherently wrong, or to do certain things because they were right, that voice was the imprint. Ultimately, the best way I could explain it was the imprint of a supreme being, the same supreme being who tells Adam, where are you, Adam? Or the same supreme being who tells Cain, what have you done? What have you done? I had heard that voice all through my life. I didn't know what it was, but I had a conscience, and that was proof for God for me.
We had a conversation in a podcast, in Lighthouse Faith podcast, and I think this is an interesting aspect, is that your search for a greater spirituality.
Yes.
Why did it not lead you back to Islam, which is the religion you were born into?
Yes. Well, I mean, for starters, I'd been born and raised in Iran, and at the time, I was born after the Iranian Revolution. And so Islam, as I encountered it, increasingly, I think, more generally across wide swaths of the Muslim world, is just synonymous with law, juridical pronouncements about what you should do about eating and dress and so on and so forth, and political dominion. And there was very little room there for the individual conscience, for grace, for love. Whereas in the God of the Bible, you encounter a God who constantly draws nearer to his creation. From that beginning with, where are you, Adam? Not letting him go, then constantly seeking him out to the point of becoming a man, a person. And that was appealing, it touched me, and ultimately I had to conclude that the witness of the 4 evangelists is true, so that if it's true, then your whole life has to be oriented toward the cross.
Are you prepared to actually take on sort of debates with Muslims who are kind of moderate, who really believe in their faith? Because, I mean, I know that, like Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, I mean, he would be someone that would say, but you didn't know the real Islam. What would you say to someone like that?
I would say I'm happy to engage in those debates, what I would say, though, is that we can also begin to agree on a lot of things, in the sense that Catholicism, especially in Islam, can have a shared critique of some things that are wrong in the secular liberal mindset. We may not have all the same answers, but we can both be dissatisfied with, excessive individualism, with the sense that there's no ultimate moral law, but everyone can just figure things out on their own. Christianity, Judaism, and Islam all have critiques of that, and I'm more interested in that shared critique in a way.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Well, the book is called From Fire by Water, My Journey to the Catholic Faith. And to find out more, you go to foxnews.com, and also Lighthouse Faith Podcast you can locate on foxnews.com. I'm Lauren Green, and thanks for watching A Spirited Debate.